Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, theater personality of the best hair. Or am I? Well, it's not exactly the best lead-in, but today's movie does have a lot to do with not being sure exactly what is or is not reality. This would be The Voices from 2014, though truth be told the screenplay had a lot of trouble getting off the ground, despite how well-liked it was, even being put on the Blacklist's Best Unmade Movies of 2009. Some say it was budget problems that held it up, but perhaps one way they worked to fix that was by recasting the main character Jerry from being played by Ben Stiller to Ryan Reynolds. In The Voices, Jerry is a happy-go-lucky guy in a menial factory job whose life is going nowhere fast, but a chance meeting with a lovely lady from his workplace sets in motion some pretty wild events. This would be perfectly fine, except of course there's a reason this movie is called The Voices. But he's getting together with his sweetheart from work, and that's a good enough reason to denote this as a Valentine's Day special review, isn't it? Yes. So, let's take a look at The Voices. Should not be listen to The Voices? Our story begins at the Milton factory, as we see Jerry hard at work, packing bathtubs all day long, over and over again. However, his entire world is about to be turned upside down by a terrifying revelation!
The thing is Milton Fixtures every year has the company party, a barbecue.
Okay.
Not exactly on the same level as your family being murdered or finding out you've been groping up your sister this whole time, but if you've got social anxiety, it's just about as terrifying. Especially considering he's the new guy, and it's a tradition that the planning is taken care of by the newest members of each department. Thus, he's elected. Hearing the hot babe from accounting will be another member of the planning party, though, gets him excited for the meeting, which comes tomorrow, so he's got to go home and tell his dog and cat how great things are going at work.
Like some big privilege letting you work for free on their picnic.
How do you know about the picnic?
I know everything, Jerry.
Which could be going better, but it's fine. I'm sure we all know what it's like to have arguments with disembodied Europeans off screen. Jerry doesn't let them talk him out of the picnic, /barbecue /whatever. He goes bright and early to the meeting the next day and enthusiastically supports Fiona's idea for a conga line. With that, the meeting is adjourned. Everyone has their assignments, Jerry gets all the leftover pizza, and Fiona will work with him to set up the music from her iPod. See, this is what I love about this movie. It's simple, but cute, and kind of fucked up. The fucked up part being explained somewhat in the next scene as Jerry meets up with his psychiatrist, Dr. Warren, played by Jackie Weaver.
Any side effects with the meds?
I don't know.
Are you taking them?
I don't know.
You have to take them.
Seems there's a medication he's been prescribed that he may or may not be taking, but, fuck all that, it's conga time!
Conga?
So that's how they work. No, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to tell how dancing goes for everyone else. Usually when I'm out doing it, it's just me headbanging in a corner all night. But Jerry gets a lot closer to Fiona, played by Gemma Arterton, in glorious slow-mo dancing and butterfly-enhanced splendor.
Did you fuck the bitch?
I don't have to answer that.
And you'll never fuck her either because you disgust her.
But you can't be happy forever. Especially not with an asshole of a cat living in your house. No, not you, Tara. I was talking about... Never mind. At least Bosco, the dog, is on Jerry's side and tells Mr. Whiskers to shut it. The cat says there's no way he's getting anywhere with her as she's way out of his league. But he doesn't care. He's got the hot babe Fiona to lay his smooth moves down on.
You said I should come by accounting sometime.
I did.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the picnic.
Which consists of completely misinterpreting benign situations, but However, this does go somewhere as Lisa, played by Anna Kendrick, invites Jerry to join the three of them for drinks later. Now he gets to show off his fantastic conversation skills with Fiona, who laments her failed relationship and being so far away from England.
I think it's time to move back home.
I know karate.
No, Jerry, don't talk about you. The trick is talk about her. Ask her if she knows karate. It's more than a little obvious that Lisa is actually interested in Jerry, but he pays that no mind whatsoever as he has his sights set squarely on Fiona, much to her dismay. Unfortunately, she also isn't the best at explaining things to him, as he invites her to a Chinese restaurant on Friday night.
On Friday night, I'll pick you up after work.
No, it's all right. I don't need a lift.
Or just meet there then?
And you know what? I kind of identify with Jerry a bit here. I mean, there's so many times I just wish women would tell me, no, no, absolutely 100% no, no. It clears up a lot of ambiguity. To be fair, she does realize she didn't make it as clear as she could have.
Said I might meet him over there.
Well, no, you can't. Tonight's karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke. Oh, he'll get over it.
Yeah, sure, decide not to go, but also don't tell him because, I mean, you don't want to hurt his feelings. There's no way his feelings could possibly be hurt by spending all day planning to go out and meet you somewhere where you don't fucking show and you're just sitting there like an asshole all day. I'm calm. I'm calm. So she goes out with the girls on the biggest damn karaoke stage I've ever seen while Jerry sits completely alone with no one to talk to but a fish.
I'm a little bit bummed. No, duh. She stood you up.
Which in this movie is a bit more literal, but that's not really important. The point is by the time he heads home, it's raining like a motherfucker. It also just so happens that Fiona's car won't start, phone got damaged in the rain, and the bitch Karma has left her ass stranded outside of the factory. Who would happen to pull up, but... No, not them. The next guy, Jerry. This means she has to apologize for not having gone to the restaurant with him, and ask if he got her message about not being able to make it, which may or may not exist, but the important thing now is that she's freezing cold and her clothes are soaking wet.
Don't stare, Jerry.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's okay, Fiona. I always cover them up with smileys anyway. Show me. Strangely enough, this is just the thing to get Fiona to really open up to Jerry, insisting he take her down to a specific restaurant that specializes in horrible, unhealthy edible monstrosities on a bun. So off they go together, and with such enthusiasm, there's no way Jerry could fuck this up.
You like heaven better, huh?
Heaven? What?
Where are you from?
Oh, you're an angel. Are you an angel? Mommy, that's an angel. Motherfucker, why is there always a stupid fucking angel line in movies? It does lead somewhere as he decides to play a little angelic trivia with Fiona.
There's tons of angels in the Bible, but only 4 of them have names, 3 of which are Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel. Who's the 4th?
Lemmy, Prince, Bowie. God damn it, this joke is depressing! She's having a little difficulty thinking of it, possibly because Jerry slams right into a motherfucking deer, then upon hearing it ask him politely to end its suffering, he produces a gigantic fucking knife and cuts the motherfucker's throat right in front of her.
The 4th angel is Lucifer.
What?
Lucifer is an angel, a fallen angel.
And when you take into account they point out that his mother used to hear voices too, and she called them angels, might explain a bit more than it seems at first. Of course, this has severely killed the mood with Fiona, but not wanting to ruin their special relationship, Jerry chases after her, hoping that he can explain that it was all just one big misunderstanding.
Oh, I don't know how that happened.
And it looks like he jumped the gun a bit on the whole thrusting and penetration thing, but, it's fortunately with a knife in her gut, so it's not like this joke is going to get uncomfortably dark anytime soon. Obviously, this was a terrible accident, and Jerry is very sorry, but, he can help make sure Fiona doesn't have to suffer any longer.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now, come to think of it, I believe I've had worse dates. So yeah, she's fucking dead. But hey, that's better than being in pain, so score 1 for Jerry. Now he's just gotta get home and wash off all that stage blood while arguing with Mr. Whiskers about what exactly just went down.
You wanted to kill her.
Never.
Why'd you take the knife then?
Oh my god.
It's just what you do in horror movies. You're chasing a woman in the woods, you got a knife in your hands. It's just like when she tripped and instead of getting back up to run, she just hobbled around on the ground. It's just what you do in these situations. According to Mr. Whiskers, it's fine to kill. Hell, nothing makes you feel more alive than taking the life of another. But there's one thing that Jerry neglected to do in his homicidal fervor.
Go get rid of the fucking body, dipshit.
Mr. Whiskers, you gotta understand, it's a bit harder to do when the body in question is an adult human, and you neglected to kill them in a sandbox. Don't worry, Jerry's taking control of his life, so hauling off to the recently butchered body of your crush is no problem whatsoever. Only problem is this wasn't exactly on the schedule of the day, and a psychiatric evaluation was, which leads to the question of whether or not this man has been taking the medication as prescribed, which he waffles around answering, instead giving a rousing speech about how, without the medication, he might have some bad experiences, but they're offset by the best kind of best experiences imaginable, revealing the universe in all its glory, as bright as a newborn baby's faith in the human spirit!
You totally stopped taking the pills, didn't you?
Totally.
Well, at least he didn't tell the lady, oh yeah, I was taking them, but I found an even better cure using tried and true homeopathy. One slight problem is if he stops taking them, the nice young men in their clean white coats come to take him away. So he agrees to get back on the wagon. First things first, though, there's that corpse thing to take care of. Nothing a few hacksaws and a shitload of Tupperware can't fix. Not that every last bit of Fiona winds up in bite-sized chunks, mind you. Yeah, but the pills.
Don't take those pills, Jerry. Unless you want to say goodbye to your old friends.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to be talking to your cat anyway.
Yup.
Yeah, ain't that right, Kuro, my doggy butt? Oh yeah, that's right.
Or dog either.
What? Okay, Kuro, go on. Go lay down. Still, he doesn't want to take the pills, so Fiona calls to him from inside the fridge.
Take the meds, you useless wanker. Take them. Take them!
It always gets me how severed heads manage to have such profound voices when, generally speaking, they are never portrayed with lungs or a diaphragm or anything like that, or even hooked up to any kind of air whatsoever. I mean, there is a logical explanation for it in this movie, but, in most movies, not so much. Now that Jerry's taken the medication, though, naturally, it sets in, causing some rather furiously edited flashbacks to Jerry's childhood, where his abusive stepfather took away the only friend he ever had, a sock puppet named Bunny Monkey, but hey, it still counts. Things don't get much better after he wakes up and has to face the world, and his suddenly very quiet pets.
Come on, say something. Tell me to go after myself.
Jerry, I think we know deep down that's what all cats are telling us every minute of every day. I really admire this segment. The muted colors and much more gruesome-looking gore showcase a world vastly different than what Jerry's been experiencing so far, and it's completely understandable when he induces vomiting to get the hell out of there and dumps the rest of the medication down the drain so he can return to experiencing the world in a much more pleasant fashion.
Beastly drugs. They made me look like a sodding jack-o'-lantern.
You know what? And you're stinky, too.
Still clearly in his own head, as Fiona from this point on really hams up the English aspects of her vocabulary, showing that he's not really talking to Fiona, but his idea of Fiona. But that's not the most sinister part of chatting it up with a severed head.
Can you get me a friend?
A friend?
I get so lonely in the fridge.
Was the conversations with the turkey club sandwich not good enough for you? As much as Jerry loves Fiona, or his idea of her, imprinted on her decapitated form, he's still not into the whole go out and kill someone on purpose thing, no matter how much his cat tries to get him to do it.
We're not like the pussy, Jerry. We have morals.
It's a good boy.
Did you hear that? I earned the right to be called a good boy.
You earn the right to be hit by a minivan.
At the very least, I'm happy that my pets get along much better than that. Isn't that right, Terror Girl? As Jerry knows, Lisa is quite interested in him, so it doesn't take much for him to convince her to meet up with him after work for a drink. Hell, she's even more awkward in this conversation than him, but it's obvious enough that Allison, played by Ellis Smith, overhears their plans of food, fermented beverages, and fornication, which does kind of leave out that part where Jerry plans to fillet her like Fiona and flop her face into his fridge, which is mildly interrupted by a flashback when he fondly remembers his final moments with his family. Which isn't so bad, really. I mean, sure, his mother just breaks some glass and starts cutting her throat right in fucking front of him, but, hey, he had a mother, and they had their voices to fall back on. Even better, this is a family activity, as Jerry's mother, played by Valerie Koch, begs him to finish her off so the authorities don't take her away. Also, never tell anyone you hear voices to, or they'll do the same to you. Might have helped that she also told him what to say for an alibi to this situation. I'm not saying it's incriminating. It's just he's standing there with broken glass in his hand covered in his mother's blood, and she's dead. That depressing memory out of the way, Lisa knows just how to cheer Jerry up. Some fucking. This has the adverse effect of having their date end on a positive note.
This night turned out differently than I was expecting.
Yeah. It's gonna look really weird when you have to return 75 pieces of Tupperware. He can't stick around, though, because he has to go feed his pets. It's just your usual situation of Bosco being happy to see him, and Mr. Whiskers being an impatient asshole. But it's not like the concept of him needing to kill is coming up from either of them.
Jerry. Hey.
Damn, new relationships always start out so great, but then your ex's head pops up and suddenly people gotta die. Not quite yet, though, as he doesn't want to ruin what he's got going with Lisa. That being her randomly dragging him into the copy room for some hot and sexy makeout sessions on company time. Which is interrupted by Allison, but that's not a problem. It just gives Lisa the chance to ask her if she can procure Jerry's home address, because Lisa wants to surprise the guy.
Someone's here! Intruder! Intruder! I got your man, Jerry!
Hey, Jerry, is that my new friend?
Oh, Jerry, I just need a whip of her butt.
Jerry.
And considering she showed up when he was having a conversation with the severed head on his coffee table, it's a pretty good surprise there. Obviously, Jerry is happy to see Lisa, but not quite willing to let her waltz into his home right now, so he locks himself out and goes to the skylight to get back inside. Unfortunately, Lisa happens to be a master of unlocking, and upon entering his home, shows the audience it is not the idyllic pastel wonderland Jerry sees it as, but rather some Amityville horror shit. But the knickknacks and spare cranium is a nice touch.
Lisa, I told Jessica to go through the skylight.
Jerry, I'm sorry.
And of course, Jerry isn't happy with this turn of events. And he's not coming out like, "Raw, I gotta kill you now!" But clearly their relationship does suffer. As a random shouting match with his silent cat scares the ever-loving fuck out of Lisa, she runs for safety in a side room, but then she narrowly escapes Jerry into another side room. But now that they're alone together, they can at least work out their differences of that whole, house full of body parts thing.
It's okay.
Alright, problem solved. They couldn't quite see eye to eye, so he broke her fucking neck. If only all relationships were this straightforward. How the hell does he even have room for milk in that thing anymore? Of course, after the second woman in that office disappeared without a trace, completely unannounced to the world, people are starting to ask questions. Once Allison finds out that Jerry was institutionalized as a child for stabbing the ever-loving fuck out of his mother, there's just one thing left to do.
Shh. What do we do?
Ooh, Jerry, I got an idea.
Ha, sweet, got the whole set! Now I just gotta get a new job. With women who have heads. It's not all sunshine and rainbows with 3 heads in the fridge, though, as they won't shut the fuck up. So to deal with this, Jerry does the logical thing and goes to his psychiatrist for a little chit-chat. Of course, going from extremely calm to crying and talking about the world crumbling before him just makes her think that he's overreacting.
It's not like he killed someone.
It is kind of like that. Kind of like that times 3.
Hey, maybe you get a group discount in court. Get charged for 2 murders, but the third is half off sentencing. Realizing the gravity of the situation, she tries to call for help, but Jerry catches her and realizes he has to tie her up and take her far away if he's going to manage to get any kind of therapy done today. It's a nice little speech about how everyone hears voices in one way or another, but to all of us it's just personal thoughts, and just because we have thoughts telling us to do things one way or the other, that doesn't mean we have to act on them.
See, that's like 10 years of therapy in 10 seconds.
If you really want a soul-cleansing exercise, watch a 10-hour marathon of Robin Williams movies. He can't quite let her go just yet, though, as he's got to feed his pets. However, the important male characters from his factory, John, played by Adi Shankar, and Dave, played by Sam Spurrell, decide to investigate Jerry's house, considering Allison never returned from her expedition. Discovering the cars of the missing women, Dave goes in to check on the house, letting Bosco run loose like an asshole, but more importantly...
John, call the police! Call the...
It seems the jig is up. The police are on their way. Later, night's already fallen by the time Jerry returns home, and the police are nowhere to be seen. Neither are his pets, which has him more than a little concerned. So running out to go find them, we see Bosco is long gone, and Mr. Whiskers was obviously just in the house hiding like an asshole.
He's that's the bitch you've been fucking.
No, Mr. Whiskers, that is my psychotherapist.
It depends on your definition. Violation comes in many flavors. Dr. Warren wants to make a phone call, though. Not to call the cops, of course. She just doesn't want to be alone. Therefore, Jerry has the perfect solution for everybody.
Here.
Oh, calm down. It's not that bad. It's not like Jerry's got the Ed Gein collection going on. I mean, he has the body parts around, but he's never actually made the nipple belt. Before they can have a proper conversation, though, the police arrive. Knowing he's either a dead man or medicated for the rest of his life to the point where he might as well be dead, he plans to run for it.
That's good, Jerry. This'll fool him, since you're bulletproof and invisible.
So Jerry's a predator. I knew there was something I liked about the guy. His escape route is actually a secret way to get into the bowling alley. So while the SWAT team comes in, tear gasses the place, and gets the two living creatures out of there, Jerry winds up trapped inside the building, burning to a crisp thanks to an explosion via gas leak. After a final internal monologue, or meeting, Jerry realizes his only choice is to stay inside the building and give himself to the all-consuming flame. Thus, he dies. Which results in Wasco and Mr. Whiskers finally coming to amends with each other's differences and going their separate ways. Also, we suddenly teleport to somewhere where Jerry meets back up with all his dead friends and family, most of which were his own fault.
Sorry I killed you guys.
Let's not bring up the bad things. Let's just be happy.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I was expecting his afterlife reception to be a slight bit less friendly, all things considered. But it's cool. Jesus, played by Michael Pink, understands and loves Jerry just the same, and the movie ends in a musical number.
Why don't you sing a happy song? Sing a happy song. Chase them away. Sing a happy song. Hey now.
So happy, tragic, sad, uplifting ending. Anyway, that was The Voices. And it's fantastic. Dark comedies are hard to pull off. Most attempts at the genre put all their eggs in the comedy basket and forget that things are supposed to be dark at some point. Just having death or zombies does not horror make. Horror is a feeling, a sense of dread, and even pure horror movies seem to have a hell of a time getting it right. The Voices does so seemingly effortlessly while maintaining just as high a standard for its comedic aspects. I think one of the best ways to explain how well the movie did in that regard is that most places where viewer ratings are averaged out, The Voices is given a pretty solid 2.5 to 3 stars out of 5, with most of the complaints being that it's really fucking disturbing and these precious souls signed up for a comedy. When the complaints of those who don't like the movie describe it perfectly as a dark comedy done right, I don't think that's a bad thing. Jerry is also a fantastically performed character. Ryan Reynolds managed to give us a man who did horrible acts. Not even, oh, well, he had no choice. No, he had a fucking choice, and he went for the most fucked up one. Yet, despite this, he still managed to be sympathetic. I don't think that's just because I myself am a tad fucked up. I'm sure it helps, but most of the credit goes to the acting. Finally, while the movie has its dark, gritty scenes, most of the time we're seeing things through Jerry's eyes, and oh how bright and playful the world seems. It's a great way to contrast the horror of the acts going on with the innocence of the protagonist's point of view. Overall, The Voices is a dark comedy done right, which is hard enough to find, but goes above and beyond that to create a movie that I think is great to watch multiple times, make you care, freak you the fuck out, and leaves you feeling good and singing a happy song, coming in at 5 post-mortem pastel parties out of 5. And I think it's a perfectly fine offering for Valentine's Day. Tell your beloved that even if there was some freak accident, followed by another freak accident to about 20 or so, and their head winds up in their fridge, you know what? You'll still love them. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Dr. Shado. And remember, don't listen to your cat. Listen to your dog. They know what's up. What? Kuro, up. Not belly rubs. Flip it back around. Kuro. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, ain't that right, Kuro, my doggy butt? Yeah.
Okay. Kuro, get back. We haven't gotten that part yet.